Hey guys, I'm from Team Soulforge here, and welcome to the Homebrew review. Just to get the elephant out of the room, new setup. What gives? If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. On to the topic at hand. This is hopefully going to be a short video. If not, I'm sorry. But it's been a couple of weeks since the BCS, and it's actually time that I kind of like look back and kind of put a kind of like let you know kind of like what my feelings and thoughts are on the thing as a whole. All in all, it's been a really good experience, a really good experience for me. Not just in the homebrew aspect itself, but every aspect of Vanguard. The research, the deck building, the kind of like the deal, everything to do with it has actually opened me up to a whole new world of kind of like stuff that I can do within Vanguard. And I've enjoyed every single moment of it. Every game, bar one or two, I've had a lot of fun with. And just finding the kind of like small things, small minor tweaks that I could just do with a single deck that can change the way it plays so immensely. For instance, just taking the last two builds of Neveros, the original build and my final build was fundamentally the same, but immensely different. And I kind of went full circle in one aspect. I started with Neveros, and the thing that got me started on kind of like going away from Neveros and onto Rex was the reveal of Dark Rex, which I eventually put into my final build, coincidentally. And now going back to that Rex build, I won't say it was a mistake going for Rex. It was a ill-informed decision, but it was a decision I decided to make nonetheless. I decided to go for Rex. It was a good idea at the time because it was spurned on by the reveal of a single card coming out. And yes, that is sometimes a bad plan. And yes, it was a bad plan at the time, but I wanted to go with it, and I did. But I didn't start off with a good enough build to kind of just work with. I went too much into kind of like, oh, they bind, let's do the binding things. I was too focused on that. I didn't play that deck right. The alterations that were made, the minor alterations that were made on the second version of that, improved it slightly in consistency, but didn't bring anything to it. And then that final build was actually kind of like the third build that I had, with help from Connor, was a really fun deck. It actually played like Rex should, but I didn't play it like it should have been played. If you don't make sense of that, let me explain. I wasn't playing the deck as it should have been played. I was going too much for an early rush with minimal resources. The main idea for Neveros is to kind of gauge or gauges or retires, and having a lot of stuff happen on your second swing. I was going more of the binding aspect of Rex. I wasn't striding into Neveros on the first try. I was going into a Rex stride first, then going for Neveros. And then a first stride meta is not really that viable to do that sort of play unless you're slowing the game down, which I wasn't. I wasn't controlling the game. My opponent was actually doing that, which was something I hadn't actually noticed. But I did in the end. Before switching back to Neveros. That Rex build, by the way, will be coming back once. I'm actually working on kind of like I will be working on Rex in a later date. It'll come back. It'll be a much better build. It'll function how it's supposed to function, and it'll be the best version of it, to be honest. Now, going off on that, the following build was going back to the original build, seeing how it worked, and then the final build was actually a really good aggressive version of Neveros, but this was the retire Neveros, not the it was G Neveros, not V Neveros. There are two variants. One form of the other variant was actually in the BCS. It was the version that got third. My thoughts on that might do my thoughts on that video on that build in a later date. Might do, not sure. But I've always had fun with this journey of mine with every single version of this build. I mean, the few cards that I kind of tried and teched out. The first version, I didn't have the cards to properly tech it out, like Erasmo. And to be honest, on further review, that card would have done better in a kind of a Neveros build, because you bring it out on your second Neveros, you give it a gauge, and so you bring it out on your if you obviously wanted to get to a second Neveros, you bring it out on your second Neveros. You give it a gauge so it can actually after it boosts the first time, it can come back and boost again. But I need to get that at 4, and I've only got 1 copy right now. But that's something for a later date. That's more theory crafting going through my head. So later on, I'll probably try and do something like that. Now maybe in one of the later builds of kind of like the multitude of Tachikaze builds that I've got going on. But enough said about that. I'm kind of going off on one. Yeah, back to the topic at hand. The research that I did in this was a little. It wasn't enough, to be honest. I knew about a variety of decks. I had playtested against. I don't have the facilities currently to playtest. I have a Mac. Area's not on Mac. I don't have a Switch or a PS4 to play EX, so there's that. My only playtesting is real life, and I've only got one real playtester. But that being said, I have had really good PlayStation sessions against Connor. And to be honest, I will have to thank the guy. Right, I'm going to stop for a second and thank Connor. I know you're going to watch this, bud, so I'm going to say this right now. If you hadn't have suggested I do this, I wouldn't have been able to advance as much as I have as a player and kind of like a member of the community. It's been kind of like a really fun journey for me, and it's because I've been doing this alongside Connor, alongside your Connor. It's you've made it. To be honest, Connor, you've made it more manageable for me. Here I am gushing out, blah blah blah. Shut up. No, I'm not going to cry if that's what you're thinking. I know you're thinking it. No, I'm not. But anyway, going off topic yet again. Back to it. Yeah, it's been really fun going alongside Connor. And his help with kind of like small tweaks, or he's made suggestions about what I could do to kind of like help me out a little when I've asked for a little assistance. He's helped me out. And then we had that full session of like cards, like making Rex. So much fun. Really would like to do that again. Hopefully we will. But not outside. Anyway, so I mean, going on to the next kind of like thing, when going back into Neveros, I will have more things to do with the deck going on, and I will really enjoyed every single moment of this of the journey through this. Every little kind of like piece of synergy I found, or kind of like little plays that I've done that were unexpected, and in the final build, even coming back to Dark Rex, adding a couple of copies into my main was absolutely genius, to be honest. And I considered it because of Neveros' skill, but putting it into practice was a really good way of finding out that it actually really works really well. It worked more times than I'd like to think of in like PlayStation afterwards. And I've really loved every moment of this. It's been one of the journeys that I would definitely do again. A few alterations would be not staying on Rex for so long, and trying out other versions, maybe a Gaia variant, or trying to go for a Gauge variant if I could, of Neveros, but not this time. So with all that being said, I will thank anyone who's watched this video this far. And I hope I can do more with what I've done so far. To a couple of people that I know are going to watch this video, thank you very much. Yeah, you know who you are. And on that, I will say until the next vid, bye.